everyone. Gentleman Joe here, coming at you with yet another unboxing video. Apparently, I went on a pre-order spree before Christmas this year. So, today, this is a tiny hint of what we're talking about today. Today, we are unboxing the Star Wars Black Series Boba Fett helmet. So, without further ado, Mr. Milwaukee is lost, so we'll be using this tiny little black knife. We're going to get into the unboxing of it, and per usual, there'll be some close-ups and whatnot afterwards, but let's get into it. This was set for pre-order in October, and came out officially the 5th of May this year. They really missed an opportunity to release it on the 4th. I believe the 4th was a Monday, so that could be why. And yeah, this was pretty standard and easy unboxing. And here we go. Here we have the box. So previously, to get a bucket, as some people call it, bucket, helmet, whatever, you had a few options you could go through. You could get a rubles with the whole set, which I believe was like $650, and the costume, from what I've seen on a lot of websites, is it's not even worth the value. It's not even worth it at all. It's just junk. So I got this helmet made on eBay. This is a fiberglass mold, and it was about $230. I was gonna try to paint it as best as I could, and then I moved, and then a lot of things happened since the move, so it's now staying gray. And with this new helmet coming, I'm not sure there's really a need for me to paint this to be an exact replica of a Fett helmet. So I'll probably do a custom paint job on this one. Now with this, I forget who I went through exactly. This could have even been no, this was eBay. So he had different options for what you could get with one of these buckets, and one of them was undented, and he had a couple different visors he was able to do. He had one that, like, the T-visor stopped here, so this was like a solid piece, and then he had a couple different visors, so he's a real nice guy. When I moved, I lost the head of the viewfinder. He sent me one for free, so, you know, that's really good on him. I believe it's just a 3D printed piece. But either way, I now have this bucket I can customize. And there's not many features in it. The foam still has to be glued in. So I'll be interested to see what kind of options the Black Series has. Now I know the Black Series for Hasbro is kind of their collectible version of Star Wars stuff, because they know that Star Wars fans are a bunch of man babies. They like purchasing this stuff and holding on to it, keeping it in boxes, and using it for cosplay and whatnot. I believe the black figures, like action figures, are like 7-inch figures. So we're not here to talk about the series in general. We're here to talk about the helmet they should have made since day one, the Boba Fett helmet. So let's see here. Front of the box just got this and a bunch of warnings on it. Boba Fett electronic helmet. I hope it's just the viewfinder. The old Hasbro helmet I have, I'm not sure where that is. It's gone somewhere. And I remember really liking it at first, and then I realized that the T-visor on the Boba Fett helmet is like really thick. It's like it's like this big, and all the proportions are off. So I think it's just sitting at my mom's house because I was disgusted. I was disgusted with it once I grew up and realized it's really not that accurate. So this is finally what people have been looking for, and it'll be cool to compare and contrast with this, because this is probably a closer T-visor shape than this one. I can tell it's a little bit more open where your eyes are going to be, but we'll take a look-see here. We'll take a look. So, and the interior view seems pretty authentic. Got some nice padding back there. And it's probably going to be similar to the Doom helmet, where it's got like a hard hat kind of suspension system in there. there, so let's just open the box, shall we? Let's just get the show on the road. The box is a little bloomed a bit, so kind of can tell that maybe it doesn't fully fit in the box, or maybe it took a tumble as it was shipped. Who knows? Hopefully it's not broken. I'd be pretty upset by that. Now I know this is what it looks like upon immediately opening it. I know that there's some differences between the Empire Strikes Back helmet and the Return of the Jedi helmet. I can't tell you exactly what those differences are going to be. So if you're looking for something that in depth and accuracy, I'm not going to have that for you. Unfortunately. Here's the rangefinder. Locks into place upwards. So if you were to like look down, I guess, it's not going to go down unless you press the button. It goes down. So it gets holographic and whatever. Alright, let's get the bucket out. The bucket. Why we're all here, honestly. Put that to the side. Here's instructions here. Last time I didn't read the instructions, I figured out that there's electronics in the Doom helmet. This is just telling you where the battery compartment is and how to open the rangefinder, and it does have a suspension system, much like the Doom helmet. I always thought that they missed an opportunity by taking so long to make this. You know, there's so many die-hard Fett fans that you figured they would just make the Fett helmet. Now I know that there's a white one out, which is to go along with Ralph McQuarrie's drawings of an original Fett. But that, because he was supposed to be white, so that's neat, that's interesting. And the interior to this helmet is very, very good looking. I'll have to show you a close-up of it. But it's got all these electronics on the inside. It's got like what looks like a little mock fan back here. In the back down there. And you can see the padding on the side of it. It's very, very detailed. These little scuff marks all over the helmet. Some of them actually feel like it kind of feels like the darker green is the top layer, and these feel like a bottom layer. So they actually did a really good job at mocking up the damage on it. And then we got the kill stripes here on the side. It's a nice helmet. So let's put it side by side and kind of take a comparison of the two helmets. They both appear to be about the same size. And there's a slight variation. The T-visor on this one is slightly smaller than the T-visor on the Hasbro. You can see how this one is open just ever so slightly in the front. And that's probably a good thing, because you'll just be able to see better. If I put them side by side like this, we should be able to get a good look at how much more open it is. Or the helmet is just that much bigger, which is certainly a possibility. But as you can see, the visor is just ever so slightly bigger. It's bigger by, if I put it rim to rim, this portion here is about a ½ inch bigger than the portion on this helmet down here. So, anyways, batteries. I think the battery compartment is under here, nice and inconspicuous. A better location than the Doom helmet one, underneath the mouthpiece, and requiring a screwdriver. Let me just figure out how to open. Okay, this one also requires a screwdriver. I reckon because this is a single AAA, that it's probably just a few LEDs on the light. Well, a few LEDs on the helmet itself. I doubt it talks. Because LEDs run at such low power that you can run it off a single AAA for a little, you know, a decent amount of time, rather than all these voice commands. There's no like wacky buttons on the side or anything, so there's that. Put this back on, and let's just install the rangefinder, viewfinder that I keep calling it, whatever it is. And there we go. Our helmet is now complete. So as you can see, I changed clothes. And that's because the second half of this video was split and it was lost. So I'm here about a month later, and we'll do a full review of this. As I kept trying to do another review, I kept running into a little slightly more issues here and there. This is not a perfect helmet. It's pretty good, but if you want something, there's going to be sacrifices you have to make, and that's just part of having a helmet with this much detailing on the inside and the outside, as well as wearability. So it may come to a crossroads where you have to choose, would you prefer accuracy with the inside of the helmet for wearability, or vice versa? I know a lot of people are going to put this on a shelf piece, but this is one of the cheapest options for getting a Boba bucket out there. I know getting a custom build is like $160, and then it just goes up from there once you add paint, especially if you get someone to professionally paint it. As far as I'm concerned, the battle damage, the kill stripes, the coloring on this helmet is fine for me. I'm not a super hardcore, super strict fan that I need to know where every tiny blemish is on the helmet. However, this looks decently good enough for me, and it would certainly complement any cosplay, I think, if you were to use this as your base and go from there. So we're going to talk about the wearability, which is the main issue I have with this. So it comes with this head harness that goes inside the helmet. The problem with the harness is that it's loose. It doesn't like lock into place. All it needs is a little tiny push, and it's going to start opening on its own, which is rather unfortunate. Another issue is the detailing with the helmet. So this is where I said that you may want to pick wearability over full detail. So in the back here, as you can see, the interior of the helmet, very detailed. Very, very detailed. But right here is a chip. It's a chip / fan system kind of thing. And it prevents, I took mine out already because I had a hard time having this helmet fit my head. So where this sits inside here like so, and the adjustment piece is just thick enough that it hits this, like they're touching, and it creates a sharp pain basically right here on the back of your head. Now I haven't tried to flip this, which literally is an idea that just came to my head, but what I found while picking up the remainder of this review is that if you wear it at this 45-degree angle, it tends to fit a little better. However, it doesn't like adjusting all the way. However, I have it adjusted like this. I'm gonna try to put it on, and we'll see what happens. This is the first of many tests. The issue is right here in this notch. And that notch right there is where the headband wants to sit. And the helmet itself is not deep enough if you have a big head. My head is just a little bit taller. So flipping this isn't necessarily an option because of that notch. As you can see, the notch is right here. So it has to go in like this. But I got it to fit at a 45-degree angle, so this may just be a little bit looser. This would be fine. This would be fine. You could put the microchip in there and you won't have any issues. Let me see if this even works flipped. I'm gonna put the microchip back in for our little test here. It's got a captive screw so it doesn't fully close up all the way. I mean, it has a captive screw on it, so it doesn't fully come out all the way, and it kind of sticks a little bit. So that's nice, meaning I don't have to screw it to keep it in or out. So this is with the strapping flipped. It doesn't really like sitting in its holes, but if you really needed to, you could Dremel that piece off and get a better fit. And it comes right out immediately because it's not sitting in all the way. So, I'm gonna open it a hair and see if it fits my head better. No, same issue. So that's just not gonna work. So I'm gonna put this on here and adjust for a close 45 degrees, nice and snug. Hopefully, I think no matter what, these should be shaved off. Because if you have a big tall head, it's just the helmet just does not like fitting, and it's an immediate pain to wear it. It's an immediate pain. Immediately feels like one of those sharp headaches. As you can see, I'm having problems already. Now this is with the microchip installed and with the harness on my head. My head isn't. This is a natural state for me. Notice how the helmet's pointed up, and if you look, it's literally, my head is right here. The harness is touching it, so it's like this right here is literally pivoting on the back of my skull. And as you can hear, one of the straps popped off. So this is where the helmet starts losing points with me, is that it's not wearable all the time unless that microchip is taken out. Now I got it on this time. The chip is in the back, but the helmet's loose. So we're gonna tighten it up a couple notches, but then it loosens. The harness is really where the downfall for this helmet comes in. The adjustment harness is really the underlying issue here, because you can make the most minute adjustment and then it opens up another 3 rungs on the little knobs there. And once again, we are too tight. This is probably the best fit I'm gonna get, the best mobility with the chip in. Pretty good range of motion, and it just, if you heard that snap, it just unadjusted in there. And it is now loose. This is an enormous pain in the dick. It should not be this difficult to put on a helmet. If the adjustment was in the front, we wouldn't be having this problem, because there's plenty of room in the front for the adjuster. And the adjuster is junk anyways, because it does not hold position. And there's no way to get it to hold this position. It's just not. There's no like locking mechanism. There's nothing. It's just this adjustment here. It's like, I wish this was a button. I wish this was a button that you could press and it held it in place after you were done adjusting. That would alleviate all these issues, but it doesn't. So, if to put it on slowly, we're gonna try this again. Pull the strap down, and it came out. So this is the best I'm gonna get with this helmet in terms of wearability. I guess that's fine, but no fast movements unless you're gonna move around like Batman, because you've got to move your whole body to make it not spin around on your face, which really sucks. Finally have it on, and same thing. So it's never gonna be a really tight, really good fit onto your head. It's just not possible. This helmet is not made for that. It's probably most likely a showpiece. It's mostly what the design of this is. I don't think it's made for primo wearability, as we can obviously see with the constant adjuster losing its adjustment. I mean, you could tape it down, but why would you want to do that? It should fit. It should fit fine, and you shouldn't have to modify it out the box. So here I have a comfortable fit. You can't see my mouth when I talk. It's somewhat tight to my head, assuming I don't go too fast. And the only reason why I'm sure it's even keeping its spot is because my nose is pressed up against the visor. So if you're to cosplay around like Boba Fett, you know, pretend like you're hunting bounties, you have to move slow like he does in all of his scenes. That's just the way it is. No action shots, no nothing, without some serious modification. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Let's say you bought this to make a Boba Fett costume for a fan film. You're gonna have to modify it. That's just the way it goes. So let's see if adding the microchip back in with this adjuster set to where it is, and let's see if we can get it on. Nope. It pushed up, it went 360. Yep, so this is the best it's gonna get from me. If you have a smaller head, you're not gonna have this issue. And if you have a shorter head, you're not gonna have this issue either. My problem is that I have a big head and I don't want my mouth to be visible once talking. I guess my head's a little bit wider, otherwise it would fit up there, and that's just the thing. Like this, it's accurate, but it almost feels like a youth helmet. It almost feels like you need to be younger and can't be a full-grown adult to wear this helmet to like the best of your abilities. Like right now it looks fine, but let's just say something fell over my room and I went to spin really quick. It's not sticking center to my face and I look like an idiot. And there's no way to adjust that without some serious modification. If you were looking to modify this, here are my recommendations. This little nub here, there's a little nub right here on the side. Delete that. Completely get rid of it. This literally just came out as I pulled it off, because of course it did. I would take a small drill. I'd drill a hole here, and I would drill a hole here, and I would zip tie this based on my adjustment. That way there's no hope in hell that this is gonna unadjust itself. I would do multiple test fits, and I would make sure that it's gonna fit in the helmet this way, it's gonna fit on my head this way. Second thing I would do, get it to focus, is this nub right here, right between my two fingers, I would shave that off with a Dremel. With that shaved off, this is gonna pop in more because those are supposed to lock it forward in place like so it can't move. For me, this needs to be at a 45-degree angle with the chip in it. I'd rather modify the harness than the helmet itself. I'd rather also not lose the chip. So, the only other option you could do is get a helmet foam padding kit and pad in here in the upper rim. That would probably do you just as well. I'm gonna go do my modifications to my harness. I want to see this through. I want to make sure that this will work better for me. I want this to be something that's really cool. You know, just on the off chance, like, what if you wanted to use this for a Nerf war or something? You couldn't. You couldn't. This would suck. So I'm gonna modify this, and I'm gonna let you know if this is able to be actioned in, or if this is just a easy cosplay collector piece. So as you can see, it's been shaved off right here, out of the zip tie, and it's been shaved off on the other side. So this has been adjusted to fit my head. It's a little loose because it needs to come out some to fit the helmet, but this should theoretically fit better. And if not, the zip tie can be pulled out some. This already adjusts much better than before. And I believe I've made it too small. So I'm going to move it out as much as the zip tie would give me. I gave it just ever so slightly some tolerance. Fortunately, that was the last zip tie of that size that I had. So I had to clip it. It was too tight because once it goes into the helmet, it pulls it out a little bit. So I just made it really tight and snug on my head, and then you heard the pop, and it popped itself out. So really, the kind of loose side this is as good. This is as good as it's gonna get, unfortunately. You'll just have to use your nose for stability for the helmet. Because I had to do some like right here is perfect, and it's right in the slip zone. So you have to adjust it for right within the slip zone, which is obnoxious. Yeah, right there was so good. Listen. And then it lets go. So you have to adjust it to be just within the slip zone. You could do my zip tie trick. That will hold it and that'll stop it from adjusting. However, that may make it pop out the side. So this is the best you're going to get in terms of wearability. It looks good. It passes the goofy test, but don't expect to be doing anything really strenuous with this without modifications. Like I remember when I was a kid, I used the old Hasbro helmet, and I used to do Nerf battles with that on. So that was cool. Not gonna work with this one if you have a big head unless you modify it. Getting rid of the sides didn't really do anything. It just made it a little bit looser for up and down momentum. but it pops out less, so that's a trade-off there. The top strap, the strap that goes overhead, I had to disconnect completely for my head to fit. So for me, my slip zone is right here, and as you can tell, that's like right on the line. If I had a spare zip tie, I could try it again. Just something to hold it so I can do this test. Hold, please. So I rigged the zip tie to go into the teeth. This might actually be a permanent fix for me because this can be adjustable on the fly at any time, and this lacing through the hole here gives it some tension. So let's put this back in, hopefully for the last time. This should be right within the slip zone. That actually fits. Well, not perfect, but nope. It fits pretty good, but any strenuous activity is going to pop it off. So this is definitely more for collecting and light cosplaying. I mean, like this works. This works pretty good, and this is better. It's more snug to my head. I feel less like Batman. I feel less like I have to move my whole body to move my head. The only thing I'd probably do to make this a full, better custom mod I would get some rubber gasketing and glue that to the side of the helmet ring. So then it is less likely to move. When I look down all the way, the helmet shifts its way up and it looks like Boba's looking up. However, it's very gradual, and when are you ever going to need to look all the way down like that? So that's the only other mod I can think of doing to this, but being right within the slip zone and being able to move it, having it be tighter with the microchip in and still be comfortable, I would say that this is a permanent fix for the helmet. It's adjusted for my head only, which means my grubby friends can't come over, slap it on, and expect it to fit right away. They may have to take the ring out and adjust it their way. With my new method, you can adjust it and then put the zip tie. You can slip the zip tie out of the groove, adjust it to what you need, put the zip tie in, and then it will be fully adjusted to your head. So this, I believe, is the fix. This was $110, maybe $120 on Hasbro.com. This is the best bang for your buck Boba Fett helmet. It's very accurate. I'll give it a 7 for looks. It gets about an 8. The actual scuffing actually looks like it's dented in, although you can see some real professional builds where the battle damage is actually deep. It's just a matter of what you want to spend, but they tried their best to get some depth of the battle damage here, and you can see it throughout the helmet. It does look very good. The interior looks really good at the cost of wearability, so that's some of your trade-offs there. It's translucent enough that you can see out. People can't see in. My nose is against the glass and you can't even see into it. So that's very good. A thing I saw online is that the LEDs don't work sometimes, so let's test mine out. Mine work right now. The viewfinder has a little LED display. This front cover can slide off and you can actually see through it. I believe the LEDs are on a timer, so that's nice. So yeah, there you go. That's the Boba Fett Black Series helmet. It's I'm giving it a 7 just because I had to modify it to make it fit. It's as screen accurate as I probably could have even done with that other helmet. So stay tuned, and I'll probably do a video customizing that other helmet to be my own personal colors. I'm gonna screw my microchip back in, and you can enjoy some footage of the helmet. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.